My screen, please, darling, so I can see what I'm doing. Thank you. Rightio. Okay, so thank you so much for being here with us today, girls. We are looking at the Thermomix TM6 model today. Now, I know a couple of you have got Thermomixes and a couple are thinking about getting Thermomixes. So for those of you who've got Thermomixes, like the lovely Carmel and Marjorie, I will be giving you lots of tips and stuff like that. Hopefully you can ask any questions you like about your Thermomix and about what you've been, let us know what you've been making in your Thermomix and sharing that. And then for the other girls, I will hopefully be showing you some, like I said, some basic stuff that you can do in a Thermomix as well. So before we get started, and everybody knows who I am, I'm Gemma. I'm the team leader for Team Thermofans in Northern New South Wales, but servicing the whole of Australia now. Thank you very much to the internet and Zoom and the marvels of being online. But I am in Coffs Harbour in New South Wales. So we've got a little bit of a demo. We're doing pizza dough, Brazilian cheese puffs, and a chicken veloute meal, which is a potato and leek soup with a chicken and vegetable, and then another meal of chicken and vegetables, all cooked in one, all together in the Thermomix. So before we get started on the cooking, I'll quickly let you know about what's included. Everything that you see today that I use on the Thermomix is included, so that will include your Varoma and all your little attachments that you see on the screen there. You also get the basic cookbook as well, and the price is $2,359. Now, there are lots of payment options available, and happy to chat to you one-on-one about what the best option is for you, but I will also go into a little bit more detail about each of the payment options at the end of the demo. Now, very excitingly, until the end of the month, which I know is coming up quite quickly. What is the date? About the 17th or something? 17th, so we're halfway there. But for this month, our special offer is that you actually get an extra 12-month subscription to cookidoo. Now, when I speak about cookidoo, some of you are probably looking at me like I've got two heads and you've got no idea what that is. But basically, cookidoo is our online platform for all of our recipes. And it's a little bit like Netflix for your movies. It's like that for your Thermomix recipes. And today, I've actually told cookidoo what we're going to make. So I've made a meal plan in essence. So I'm just going to go into my week, and I've told it that today we're going to have the chicken veloute, the Brazilian cheese puffs, and the pizza dough. And what that does is it makes sure that the recipe is quickly, easily accessible for me to just grab out. And then I've got step-by-step instructions on my Thermomix of the recipe. So without further ado, I'm going to get cooking, and we can chat as we go. Like I said, just come off mute and talk to me. You just have to start talking over me, and I will stop talking if you start talking, okay? I promise. So we might make the pizza dough first, I think, because that takes a little while to prove, and I might just preheat my oven as well, which I should have done before. What am I doing? There we go. Ugh. Yeah. Okay, so I've gone into the pizza dough recipe. Can you just show that, Shane? Screen? This screen? There we go. There's no actual technical part of me tapping the Thermomix to get to this screen. So that just says pizza dough, and I can just hit start cooking. But because I'm a little bit prepared, what you would do first, you would hit your little screen down, and this actually gives you the whole recipe. So it tells you it's easy, it takes 5 minutes to prep, and total time about an hour. You can actually scroll down, you can see all your ingredients, so you know what to grab out of the pantry, and then you've got your instructions there. But once you've got your ingredients ready to go, which I have, you just hit start cooking, and it's as simple as that. Any instructions that it needs that aren't Thermomix related, it still tells you on the screen. So like lightly grease a bowl, I've got a Thermomat, so I'm going to show you that in a sec. And then the first instruction is place 220 grams of lukewarm water into the Thermomix. Now, because this is a weighing step, so it wants me to measure the water, it automatically brings up my scales, and the scales are inbuilt in the TM6. So you just start pouring and the scales start weighing that water in. So you don't have to have measuring jugs or anything like that for the water or the ingredients. I'm going in with a little bit of sugar, and now I'm literally hitting next and following my nose with this recipe, and anybody could do this. My little 10-year-old, no, not 10-year-old anymore, 13-year-old, I can't believe he's 13, he proves that anybody can do this because he does this almost with his eyes shut. So we've got some yeast, and I just buy this, thanks, Del, that one from Woolies, but if you're not making a lot of bread, I actually recommend getting the little green box of yeast, and it's like got little sachets, and it keeps it really nice and fresh because they're sealed. Because when you've got a big lot of yeast, if you're not making a lot of bread and stuff like that, this can go off by the time this is full. And if your yeast does go off, obviously your breads are not going to rise. So they're still going to have the same flavour, but they're not going to be fluffy or have that rising property. Who just came in? Danielle. Oh, hello, Danielle. How are you going? She coming off?
Hi, Jem, I'm good.
Hello, how are you going?
Good.
Good. I'm so pleased that I finally got you to a Thermomix demo. It's only taken me, I've been a Thermomix consultant for, I think, coming up 9 years, and I've known Denny for probably 20 of those of my 38 years. So I've done well. You're here.
I am.
Excellent. So now I'm popping in some flour. Denny, if you missed it, we're making pizza dough. So this is a special pizza flour. For those that are local to Coffs, we get this at Fresco. But you can use any baker's flour or double O flour or pizza flour. It really doesn't matter what you use. I'm just being a bit fancy with that one. And some olive oil. And again, my scales have come up, so I don't need a spoon or anything to measure that. I'm just going to start pouring that in. Oops, and a little bit extra is okay. And a little bit of salt. Oh, you're not doing the, Shane puts up a glass and does a cheers every time I say a little bit extra is okay, because that's what I say all the time. And now I wait for it, darling, and you don't do it. Tell ya. Rightio, so I've hit next, I've put in some salt, I've put in some olive oil, and it's just come up and it's gonna now knead that for 2 minutes. So whilst your Thermomix is kneading is the only time that you can't leave the room. So when you see the next thing being cooked, we could leave the room for that 10 or 15 minutes or however long that takes, and we could go and bath kids or do something else. But when it's kneading, you've got to stay close by. You don't have to be touching it, but you need to stay within the kitchen. And the reason for that is it can move a little bit as well. So now I've got, this is what I was saying before, I've got a thermomat. So the step that said oil your bench, don't oil your bench, oil your bowl, is I've got a thermomat, so I don't have to put this dough into a bowl. I'm just going to use my thermomat, and I'm just going to give that a little spritz of oil so that my pizza doesn't stick to it. Is that our children being noisy upstairs? No, what is it? Something's making a noise, but I don't know what it is. I think it could be the children, or is it the slide board? I don't know. You probably can't hear it, but there's a funny noise in our kitchen at the moment. I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things that whatever will go wrong, whatever can go wrong will go wrong when we're live. Well, good. Now, for those of you who've got a Thermomix, tell me, have you made pizza dough yet? Look at that, Shane. It looks so cool. It's going to be a nice dough. Have you made pizza in your Thermomix yet? Pizza dough. Who was that? Marjorie. No, you haven't. Do you buy pizza, Marjorie?
Actually, I did buy one, yes.
Oh, yesterday. Well, and this is the thing. A lot of people, you know, they forget sometimes that what they can do in their Thermomix as well. So look at that. That's just like, that dough's just fallen out of there. There's like 2 tiny bits to grab. And I can just keep using that bowl. It's so clean that it doesn't even need to be washed in between. So look at our dough. It's like perfect. And I'm just going to I'm just going to wrap it up in my Thermomat. But if you didn't have a Thermomat, you could easily use a bowl or something like that. So I'm just going to wrap that up and put that aside just for a few minutes. The recipe tells you to wait for it to double. If you're doing bread, like a loaf of bread or bread rolls, you really do have to let it double in size. But pizza's very forgiving. A lot of people just make pizza straight from that and don't even let it rise at all. So we'll give it a little bit of a rise, but we'll come back to it very shortly. So you can see that, yeah?
It's caramel.
Yes.
I make it all the time. It's fabulous.
Oh, excellent, Carmel. Very good. Well, Marjorie, you're going to have to take a leaf out of Carmel's book and make yourself some pizza dough, because let me tell you, it's so good making your own pizza that you won't go back. It's so easy. When I first got my Thermomix, I used to say to people, it's easier for me to make my own pizza than put the 3 kids in the car and drive to Domino's even to pick it up, and like, you know, so much cheaper as well. But it was, for me, it was strapping 3 kids into the car to go and pick up pizza was too hard. And this, I could just divide up the dough, they make their own, they have on it what they want, so they eat it, and that's what we do. Rightio.
It's a good fun thing to do when you've got visitors.
It is.
I make the dough, put
Yep.
all the bits and pieces out, and they just make their own. It's a nice fun
Yeah.
thing to do with people.
Yeah, yeah, and it goes back, Carmel, to that sharing food. Like, people love sharing food with each other, and that's what we do as humans, but it's even better if they get their hands involved and make their own. And we've got the pizza oven now as well, so we have like a little bit of a night where I make a heap of pizza dough and, yep, like you said, get all the spreads out, and then everyone makes their own, and Shane just stands at the pizza oven and chucks everyone's pizza in, and it's great fun. So, and cheap as chips. Anyway, rightio. So now we're going to do the Brazilian cheese puffs. Now these are probably my favourite thing in the Thermomix. I try to do these pretty much every time I do a demonstration just because I love them so much, but I am on a diet, so I'm not going to eat these today. Shane, make sure I do not eat any of these today, okay? But these are a great little side for any kind of curry or like tomato base, like a spaghetti bowl or anything, any saucy kind of dish. My kids will just eat these straight from the tray. Shane does like if we put a little bit of bacon in the top of them, but the kids will eat them plain as well. So I'll show you how we do them. So again, we just go into the recipe and hit start cooking. We preheat the oven, which I've already done. We grab our ingredients. And I've greased my tray. So I've just got a mini muffin tray, but you can make them in any size muffin tray. You don't have to have a mini one. And now I'm just going to chuck in my ingredients. So the first thing is a block of Parmesan cheese. So I've just chopped that into 2. And I'll show you how this grates Parmesan cheese, because this is another cool thing that the Thermomix does even if you're not in a recipe. We'll just give that 10 seconds. It only needs about 6. Let's have a look at that. So you can see there that that's grated that part. Oh, you can see there, yeah. That's grated that Parmesan nice and fine for me. So it's like a powder, sort of, you can see that. A bit like the Parmesan, the horrible Parmesan cheese that you get in the aisle at Woolworths. But this is fresh Parmesan cheese in a block in the fridge, but now grated. And I'm just going to hit next. I'm going to pop the milk in. And the good thing about these cheese puffs, if they are gluten-free, so if you've got any dietary requirements, I'm just using normal full-fat cow's milk. But if you've got any other dietary requirements, you can use any kind of milk in those, and any kind of cheese as well. So these are really good for, like, if you have got like gluten-free or any intolerances or anything like that. And that's actually one of the good things about the Thermomix, and, you know, cooking from scratch with your own ingredients, you always can substitute what you want to use or need to use as well. So sometimes it's a want, sometimes it's a need, but it's very flexible with the ingredients that you want to use. Now, Arrowroot Flour is what actually makes these gluten-free, and that is, you've probably seen that at Woolworths, and I know one lady did tell me once that it's good for gravy, thickening gravy instead of corn flour. I don't use it for anything other than cheese puffs. I haven't found another use for it yet, but it takes a whole canister of that for this recipe, which is only $1.50 or so. Probably $2 by now, the way that everything's rising in price. A little bit of salt. And we'll pop the lid on, and now this just blends for 20 seconds. Rightio. Now, Carmel, have you made these before? I know you've seen me make these 100 times.
No, only because I'm like you, I'm trying to watch my weight and I'm watching it all right.
Okay. Well, I almost didn't put them on the menu just because I thought that is, it's too much temptation, but I thought, no, I will be good, and I'll let the kids have these for lunch, so late lunch.
I'm going down to Victoria on Tuesday. I just put a reminder on my phone to make them while I'm there, because of course my Thermy comes with me everywhere I go.
Love it. I love it. Well, there you go, and there'll be people down there to eat them as well. Rightio, so I've just scraped that down and given it another 5 seconds. So what it makes is basically like a blended, very runny mess, really. The first time I seen it, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. I've done something wrong. But you'll be very surprised to see what actually happens. Well, Carmel, I'm getting married in October. No, is it October? Yeah, October. So that's my motivation to not eat the cheese puffs.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. That'll be here in a minute.
It will be. Less than 100 days, apparently, I get told.
Wonderful.
You want to get married too, Shane, or do I have to find somebody else?
When I get an invite.
No, you've got an invite, darling. You'll be there. I should say we're getting married. I shouldn't say I'm getting married. I'm having a wedding.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Yes, yes.
What date?
The 22nd.
Beautiful.
So 2-2, 10, 2-2. So I reckon that's got a good ring to it. Hopefully he won't be able to forget the anniversary date. Rightio, now I could have filled those a little bit more, a little bit less and filled them all, but it's okay. So they're going in the oven, and I'm not putting bacon on them because I'm trying to encourage Rigo to lose a bit of weight as well, so I'm not putting bacon on them, so then maybe he'll eat less. It's okay, darling. He's shaking his head at me, but that's all right. Rightio, so now we've got those two easy, quick things done. Now what we're going to do is make our main meal. So I'm just going to wash that. And what was that, Doug? I am going to make a pizza, but I'm just going to leave that to prove for a little bit longer. Look at that. See, it's already starting to expand. So it sort of blows up this mat. But yes, I am going to make a pizza, Shane, just very soon. Just hang on a sec. Rightio. Luckily, I've got another spare bowl, but you could easily wash that one up, and I will show you how easy it is to wash the bowl at the end as well. But I've got a couple extras, so we won't worry about watching me wash up. Shane, can you please set your alarm for 12 minutes for those Brazilian cheese puffs, because, you know, I do like to burn things in the oven. Some things never change, Danny. Right, now, I'm going to do the chicken veloute now. So we go again into my week and choose chicken veloute. Again, you could have a look at the ingredients, but we're just going to hit start cooking and grab my ingredients. Now Shane prepped this one, so let's see, let's hope that all our ingredients are here. Rightio, so 1 garlic clove, but he done 2 because he knows that I can never put 1 garlic clove in anything. So I've popped my garlic clove in there, and it's just going to smash that up. So we don't have to worry about putting that in a garlic press or anything like that. Lovely. Scrape down the sides. You can see that that's smashed up that garlic nice and fine. Scrape down the sides. Go next. Now we're going to put in our olive oil. And what this is basically doing is the basis of our potato and leek soup. But while that's cooking, we're going to be cooking our chicken as well. So we're now going to saute that for 3 minutes. Rightio. Now, whilst that, if you're making this in your Thermomix, whilst that 3 minutes is happening, you could go and do something else, but now is the time that you should prep all the rest of your ingredients. So good thing about cooking in the Thermomix is that you do have time in between sometimes to do the next thing. So what I've done already, in my simmering basket, which sits inside of my Thermomix bowl, I've put a whole leek and about 4 or 5 potatoes just chopped up. I didn't peel them. I washed them and chopped them into 4, and that's in here, as well as just chopped my leek into pieces about that big. And that's just in my simmering basket. I've chopped my onion into 4. Now, when you're doing high heat with your onion, you want to chop your onion into 4, which is what we're going to be doing. With most times when you're adding an onion, you can just cut it in half and chop it in your Thermomix if you're going to blend it up. The other thing that I've done is I've chopped my vegetables. So now this is chicken and vegetables. Basically, chicken veloute means chicken with white sauce. So the veggies, you can use whatever you want. So I've got carrots, I've got some broccoli and some zucchini. With this recipe, it actually tells you to do it in thin strips, but I just chop it the easiest way that I can, kind of as fine as I can with a knife. And that's the veggies that I had for the chicken veloute today. You can definitely swap that out and do whatever veggies you want. Then I'll just grab my Varoma. So this is your steaming attachment. So that goes on top of your Thermomix like this. And basically when this is steaming, the steam runs up through your Varoma and steams what's in this basket. So for today's meal, that's actually going to be chicken tenderloins, which I'm going to just pop on the tray like that, and I'm going to spread them out because you want as much of the surface area of the chicken to be able to be touched by the steam. for it to cook as evenly as possible. So if you chucked a whole heap of chicken in there all touching, it would obviously take longer. It would still cook eventually, but it would take longer. So you want to make sure that you're spreading that out as best, as best you can. The other tip when you're using your Varoma is making sure that when you put stuff down in your bottom bowl or tray, you want to make sure there's plenty of holes visible so that steam can come up and touch your second tray. Okay, so that's my top tip with cooking in your Varoma. Okay, so now if you can hear that noise, that means that the Thermomix is ready for the next step. So like I said, you could have walked out of the room then or done whatever you wanted. Our garlic and our oil is just sauteed in there, nice and hot, so it's at about 120 degrees. And now we're going to pop in our brown onion in wedges, and we're going to do high heat on these. So this is where the TM6 gets really, really hot, and we'll actually start to brown those onions, and we'll really cook that at the highest temperature that it gets. And you will hear, and I know I do this all the time, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but we're only about 20 seconds into it, and you can hear now. Can you hear that? Can they hear that? No, Shane's telling me you can't. But anyway, it's sizzling. It is actually sizzling on the bottom there already. So it gets to that temperature really quickly. And again, you could just leave that, get back to prepping your veggies or whatever you want to be doing over here. Now, the other thing that I have prepped already is my veggie stock paste. So when you first get your Thermomix, the vegetable stock paste is what you make straight away. It goes in so many Thermomix dishes, and it means that you don't have to buy stock paste or stock cubes or any of those flavour enhancers like powders and all that kind of stuff. Anytime that you need stock paste or a stock cube or liquid stock, you just use your vegetable stock paste. So Carmel, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're using your stock paste. You've made stock paste. Tell me about that.
I have it all the time.
Oh, good.
And I mean all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And just the other day, 3 days ago, I had some Thai celery and some Thai carrots.
Yep.
I said to Michael, I'm going to throw these in and make some stock paste.
Yep.
Which I did, and I have it all the time. I throw it into, sometimes a bit naughty with it because it's lovely stock, into scrambled eggs and all sorts of things.
Yep. Yeah, well, and you don't even, like, you can be naughty, but it's just veggies and salt. So really, chuck it in anything, I reckon. I'm all for it. I've been making just a really nice steamed chicken and broccoli kind of meal, and I just use the liquid that cooks the chicken and steams the broccoli with a little bit of veggie stock, and I kind of pour a little bit of that over the top, so it's sort of like a bit of a broth with it, and it's delicious. It's really yummy. So the other thing with the veggie stock paste is people say, oh, the food tastes so good out of the Thermomix. People say that to me all the time. And I can't help but think in my mind, well, actually, if you cook the exact same food on this fry pan or in a Thermomix or on, I don't know, a fire, it's all going to taste the same because what you're putting in is what you're tasting. It doesn't make it taste better, but the reason why people think that the food tastes better in the Thermomix is because you are actually using better ingredients. So the first thing you do is switch to making your own stock, and that just up levels everything that you do, because, you know, last time you made a risotto, you used, I don't know, a Maggi liquid stock in a carton. So automatically this risotto is going to taste better because you've used your own stock. So I try to just sometimes smile and go, yep, it's probably the Thermomix, but it is the ingredients, I think. So
I think I've had my Thermomix for 8 years or something.
Yep.
And I have never been without veggie stock. I just make the veggie one. I
Yes.
don't do the others and use that all the time.
Yeah, so do I. I just do veggie, and then if it asks for chicken or beef, it gets veggie and it works perfectly.
Same.
Yep,
Same.
excellent. Love it, Carmel.
Very brave enough to make those.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Excellent. And you, my mum makes both, and she reckons that her, what does she make? Hug in a mug chicken soup, and she uses the chicken stock in that, and she thinks that her hug in a mug chicken soup tastes better than mine, and it's because of the chicken stock. But I don't know. I think the jury's still out. Rightio, water. Okay, so basically if we have a look in here now, we've got our onions. They've started to brown now. You can see there's a little bit of brown in the bottom there, and give that a little bit of a scrape. You can see that we've got the bit of colour to those onions, and now we're going to go in with our water. A little bit more's okay. Thank you, Shane. And we are going to go now in with our vegetable stock. So it doesn't even make you make it into a liquid stock. It just mixes it while it's in there. And I'm just going to give that a little bit of a, get it all off the spoon. So a tablespoon of veggie stock in with half a litre of the water. So that's like we've added in our own liquid stock. Now it wants us to pop in the simmering basket, and then it tells us to add in our leek, which I've already done, and our potatoes, which I've already done, and then pop the lid on, and then the varoma, like so, and go next, place the varoma into place, put the chicken on, and then we turn that to speed 1. And now what that is doing in essence is cooking our onion, our garlic, our veggie stock and our water in here. It's steaming our leek and our potato in the basket, and it's cooking our chicken tenderloins in the varoma. So that is an all-in-one recipe that is making actually 2 dishes. So it's making an entree and a main at the same time. So this is where the time-saving part of your Thermomix comes into it, because if you had that happening on the stove or in the oven or, I don't know, wherever you would normally cook that, you'd have to be there turning something or stirring something or watching it in some sort of way. But this is when you have got now 14 minutes that you could completely leave the kitchen and go and do something else. Tea's on, and you are not needed in the kitchen at all. So I usually clean up, yell at the children. You could even sit down and have a glass of wine if you were that way inclined. That's the alarm to tell us that the Brazilian cheese puffs are ready. So what you would actually do is you would see me sitting down and having a Brazilian cheese puff right about now, but not today. Let's see how they went. We go? Oh no, I'm just going to give them 2 more minutes because they're not quite brown. They're puffy, but they're not brown. So just 2 minutes, okay? Don't let me burn them. I'd just like to say it's Shane's fault if I burn the Brazilian cheese puffs today. Rightio. So like I said, you could clean up, you could pack the dishwasher, do a load of washing, whatever you wanted in 14 minutes. But because I'm going to keep you guys entertained, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Thermomix. So let's go and talk about cookidoo. So I know I mentioned at the start that you do get an extra 12 months of cookidoo, but let me just go back a step and let you know what cookidoo is. So everybody can subscribe to cookidoo.com.au and have a look at the recipe, the type of recipes and all of that you can do in the Thermomix. Once you can actually start a free 1-month trial just to have a look at the recipes if you'd like to do that, which I always recommend is a good idea if you're thinking about a Thermomix and what you would cook in there. But basically the beauty of cookidoo is that it's all of the recipes that have been made by Thermomix for TM6. So every recipe is there. There's an app for your phone, so it's like taking all your recipe books with you everywhere you go. And you can search cookidoo by anything. So if you know the name, obviously, of the recipe, that's great. But You can search one ingredient, you can search a category or like a way of eating. So you could do like dairy-free or gluten-free or whatever, or just what's popular at the moment. You can make your own favorite collections. Anything that's similar to what you've been cooking, it'll make suggestions for you and all that kind of stuff. The number one best thing is the meal plan. So this is where you can actually do your meal plan either on the app or within cookidoo.com.au on a computer. You can select what dish you're going to do each day or multiple dishes that you're going to do each day. And then from there, you can make a shopping list. Then with that shopping list, you can go to your pantry, hopefully tick off lots of the staples and things that you've got in your pantry. And then it will generate you a shopping list. Now, with that shopping list, you can either do your shopping the way that you always do your shopping, go to your butcher, go to your fruit shop, go to Woolworths, or you can link it to online shopping and it will pre-populate the Woolworths online shopping for you as well. So it's really handy. I don't even know how I would survive without the meal planning function of cookidoo. And then cookidoo 3.0 is our newest edition. And this is where you can actually put your own recipes in. So if you've converted a recipe to Thermomix way of cooking, you can actually pop that in cookidoo 3.0 and you can have your own recipe step by step on your Thermomix. So that is like really exciting because we didn't have that for the first 5 or so years of cookidoo. Shane's pointing at the oven because we don't want to burn them, do we, dear? Rightio, and look at here. Here are our cheese puffs. So they're like, I'll just pop them in a bowl. They're like a, they're hard to explain. They're sort of between a bread roll and a souffle kind of thing, but they're quite, there we go. So crunchy on the outside, oh, really hot, and like gooey and so delicious, but like cheesy on the inside. So like I said, they dip into, Shane's like literally moving closer to me to grab one of these as I'm undoing them. It's like a seagull when you've got chips at the beach. They go with everything. They literally, like, it wouldn't matter what you were cooking. Like if you were having a dinner party, or like I said, the kids will just eat them straight out of here. But if you were having a dinner party or anything, they are just such a winner to, I mustn't have oiled that one quite right. Oh, that one's not coming out very easily, Rigo. Oh, that's not saying much for my non-stick muffin tray, is it? Oh, that one can be yours, Shane. I just wrecked one. I might just use my fingers, that's better. Okay, so there you go. It's best to just grab them out with your fingers and burn the tips of your fingers slightly. I was trying to be professional. Not that I have to worry because you guys aren't eating the food, but there you go. Rightio, so there's your cheese puffs. And you can see you can double the batch too. So if you've got 2 muffin trays, you can actually easily double the batch if you need to make a lot as well. I'm just going to sit them here. I'm not going to throw you one. You can have one. There you go. Very good. Very good. Rightio. Now I'm not going to have any of those cheese puffs. Just keep reminding me. Do not eat the cheese puffs. Okay. So did I finish about cookidoo? Any questions about cookidoo? Carmel, do you like cookidoo? Marjorie, are you using cookidoo? Anybody else got a Thermomix? I can't see anybody else. You are, Marjorie? Excellent. What's your favourite recipe on cookidoo? Question without one. Sorry?
I've made quite a lot, and my favourite so far is sticky chicken.
Oh, it is a winner, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great recipe. It's just chuck it all in and...
Yeah, it's fantastic. I just love it.
Yeah. And it's like a it reminds me sort of like of a Chinese takeaway, except it's just all like it's pretty well all chicken. But it's so quick. It's one of those ones that would be quicker than driving to the Chinese to pick it up. Like,
I think though, next time I make it, I think I'll double up on the carrot and the peas.
yeah, okay.
There's not enough veggies in there. I think it needs to be more for the amount of chicken.
Yeah, okay.
It's yummy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's very. I think because we're used to, like, if we do get a takeaway like that, when veggies are cheap, they do bulk it out with the cheaper veggies. So yeah, you definitely can chuck in whatever you've got, and bulk it out that way as well. I often serve that just with, I just blanch like a whole heap of Asian greens. Like, if I get 2 bunches of bok choy or something, I'll just chop them into 3 or 4 and just pop them in a thermoserver with boiling water and just serve it with that. And then that adds a bit more green as well.
Yeah.
Carmel, what's your favourite cookie dough recipe?
Sorry, I just missed what Marjorie said it was.
Oh, the sticky sesame chicken.
Thank you, yes, lovely.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yes.
Yep, excellent.
At the minute, I'm just loving the Scotch broth.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
Oh, it's yummo.
Okay, I'll have to try that one. There's so many recipes now that every single time I speak to someone that owns a Thermomix, they tell me about a recipe that I haven't tried, which I didn't think that was ever going to happen when I first got my Thermomix and I'd made every single recipe in the basic cookbook. But now there's just so many recipes, I'll probably never get around them all.
Yes, it's Scotch broth with lamb, but we tend to use chicken, but the other day I did it with lamb and it was just beautiful. But I didn't use the pearl barley, I don't use that, I use brown rice instead of the pearl barley.
Oh, radio.
And it's lovely.
Oh, nice.
Exactly to the recipe, except
Yep.
brown rice instead of pearl barley.
Lovely. Now, people who I can't see, so I do apologise, I can only see the first 5 people. Has anyone else got a Thermomix other than Marjorie and Carmel? No. That's okay. Excellent. Chime in now if you have and tell me what your favourite cookie dough recipe, or is one of your friends been cooking for you with their Thermomix and you can tell me what their favourite recipe is, maybe. No? Okay, that's all right. Excellent. Right. Now, did I tell you all about cookie dough? I did, didn't I? Okay. Any questions about cookie dough? I better tell you, actually, I didn't tell them how much it was. So normally cookie dough is $69 a year, the subscription. So like I said, it's a subscription service, $69 a year. At the moment, you get your free month when you sign up for your trial. You get your free 6 months because you've just bought a Thermomix. And then you get an additional 12 months for buying a Thermomix this month. So you literally get, how many is that, Shane? Quick, how many months is that? 19. Is it 19? Yes, 19 months. So I don't know what's 19 months from now, but you get it free until then when you buy a Thermomix this month. So that's a really good, especially for people who are trying to declutter their kitchens and they don't want an extra cookbook or, a thermoserver or something like that. It's a really good time to get a Thermomix at the moment and not have to pay for your cookie dough. But $69 a year, it's well worth the investment.
Gemma, when my 6 months is up, do they send you a reminder?
Yes, so yeah, you'll get a reminder when you log onto your Thermomix. It'll come up and say your cookie dough subscription is getting close to needing to be renewed. But then, Marjorie, you've got to go onto your Thermomix, onto your cookidoo.com.au on a computer.
Yeah.
And go into your account and your subscription in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And it actually, it doesn't, it's not like Netflix where you turn the TV on and it just won't let you see anything. If you let it run out by a day or so, it'll just keep reminding you but still let you have the recipes. It'll just keep reminding you, and then it eventually won't let you have the recipes, but it's not like you don't lose anything or anything like that if you go a couple of days out.
Okay.
Yep. Cool, rightio. So now, other goodies, host rewards, Shane. There is a special at the moment that we have got on our host rewards. So the blade cover peeler is a little new invention that has been made for the Thermomix, which we do love very much. And it basically helps you do slow cooking in your Thermomix anytime you don't want the food that's in your bowl to be touching the blades. Now, it definitely is a complete winner for you to have with your Thermomix, and at the moment you can have it for free if a friend buys a Thermomix, or for $41.40 if you host a demonstration and invite some friends. So you also get, with that you also get a ebook with some tips and tricks about what to cook in your Thermomix with the blade cover. And then our other 4 host reward items are just there, the oval, or the three thermo servers, oval, round and white. And then the mat that I used before with my pizza dough, which actually reminds me of my pizza dough, Shane. I haven't made my pizza yet. But that's the way to get those items. So when you do get a Thermomix, you need to have at least one thermo server, I think. You need at least one thermo mat. And I do recommend the blade cover peeler as well. So, but we do not pay full price for those items. You talk to me and I make sure that you get a discount on those items as well. Now, back to me for a second, Shane, because my pizza dough here, look at it. It's actually busted out of the thermomat, which is great, and we're ready to make our pizzas. So that amount of time even is a bit longer than what you would actually need to leave this dough if you were going to do pizzas at home. And this one dough, like one batch, makes two large pizzas. And I don't have my, oh yes I do, my, I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on my rolling pin. So all you then have to do is roll these out. Like I said, I actually make one batch for all of my children. So I break this into 3 usually, and I just roll it out like this. I've got a couple of the pizza trays, which you can get the pizza trays in the mix shop as well. So the mixshop.com.au is where you find all of the recommended by Thermomix items. These pizza trays, they're like less than $15. I can't actually remember how much they are, but they are a real winner. They've got little holes so that your pizza gets nice and crispy. And there you go. So I just roll them out, 3 of them, chuck them at the kids. They put their own whatever they want on there. Wes has requested that this one is just cheese, which I'm happy to oblige because I had that ready to go. I've just gone over to my freezer, and this was a whole block of tasty cheese that I've grated in my Thermomix, and then I've just chucked into a snap-lock bag and popped in the freezer. I was going to give him some sauce, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go, he did say just cheese, so I'm just going to give him just cheese. But again, of course, you obviously know that you could do whatever you wanted with this pizza. You can make delicious pizza sauces in your Thermomix if you've got some spare tomatoes. I've got some of that upstairs, but it's in the freezer. Okay, now our chicken veloute is beeping at me. I'm going to whack that in the oven so that can start cooking. I'm going to wrap this one up. So that, like I said, it was half of the dough. I'm going to wrap that one up, and that's going to be one of my children's dinner. And if you make pizza dough too, you don't have to use it on the same day. So you could actually pop it into the fridge and let it do a long prove as well. So that's a good idea if you only want one as well. Okay, so my Thermomix, I'm just going next. I'm going to have a look at my chicken. You can see that that's well on the way to being cooked. I'm going to bring all of that down to the bottom of my varoma, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to move all that around a little bit just so that it's all not touching, and I'm going to leave some space there, and then I'm going to pop in my veg. Where's my veg? Here. So some broccoli, some carrot, and some zucchini, like that. Now, because this is already boiling, these veggies don't take very long to cook at all. Go next. And that's going to now steam those for 5 minutes. Now, because that recipe actually asks for those to be in thin strips, if you like your veggies really, really cooked a lot, you could just extend that time. So even though you're in a recipe, can you just show the screen for a sec, Dom? Even though you're in a recipe, if you wanted to up the time, even once it starts cooking, you can just press the time dial and give it a twist and extend the time if you like. Or if you thought, oh, actually it needs to be, I don't know, going quicker, you could make the speed go quicker as well. So you're still completely in control of what happens in this recipe as well. Rightio. Thank you, Shane. I'm very impressed that you've only eaten 2 cheese puffs, darling. What's going on? Oh, you're waiting. Okay. No bacon. Oh, well, that's good. Now, payment options. Let me talk you through the payment options of your Thermomix. So,
Gemma,
yeah, come on.
sorry, it's Carmel interrupting you.
You're right.
No, I have to go. I'm going to Victoria, and I love what you're doing.
Oh, lovely to have you, Carmel.
Love the Zoom.
Excellent.
And, I'll talk on my return.
Yes, no worries. You have a safe trip to Victoria, you said, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, safe trip, and I'm pleased that you're back in the loop with the Zooms.
Yeah, I've been really missing them, but hopeless I am.
Yes,
Okay.
I've added you to the list, so hopefully you'll get the notification from me now as well.
Oh, thank you, because I haven't been getting notifications.
Yeah, hopefully you will from now on, but yeah. I'll check in with you when you're back. See you, Dar.
Thank you, love them.
Bye, Dar.
Bye.
Rightio, payment options, please, Rigo. Thank you. Okay, so Thermomix is $2,359. You can do that with a credit or debit card. We do have Afterpay if you've got Afterpay, or PayPal, and that's the one payment. Now, the other options to get a Thermomix is you could join and become a Thermomix consultant. We do have positions vacant in Team Thermofans. Very easy lots of training and all of that kind of stuff is provided. The kit that you see here is what you get when you decide that you want to join the team. It's $125. You do have to either earn a Thermomix or bring your own TM6 with you when you join. But we can easily earn the price of your Thermomix back in your first 60 days. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you talk to me about that before you buy your Thermomix. Next option, Shane. Thank you. 36 months interest free is here until Tuesday. So run, don't walk if you want interest free. Our 36 months interest free brings the Thermomix down to $16.97 a week. I bought my Thermomix on interest free because that was the only way I was going to be able to afford it, because I had a grumpy husband back then who wasn't going to let me buy a $2,000 thing, and I had my Thermomix paid off within the first year just from what I was saving on takeaway and all that kind of stuff. So $16.97 a week is a really affordable way to get your Thermomix on your bench and start cooking. We also have the Easy 3, thanks Doll, which just makes it easier to pay it off in 3 payments rather than the one payment. It does cost $50 extra to do the Easy 3, but you don't have to do any credit application or anything like that. It's just an agreement with Thermomix and you. You pay $1,009 today, or when you order your Thermomix, then $700 the month after, and then $700 the month after that. Is that all the payment options, Shane? I think it is, yes. You can take cash to the bank as well if you like, which we don't mention, but a lady did that last week. Anyway, is there any questions so far on anything that you've seen today? Speak now. I'm checking my pizza. Oh, it's looking lovely. Just a few more minutes needed. Questions? Thoughts? Just come off mute and say that you're still listening. Marjorie, I know you're still listening. Right, we've only got 2 seconds. Excellent. That was just a test because I can't see your face. I can see the other faces. Okay, so we're dinging again. We go next. Now, what we're doing here, Shane, would you believe that I don't have a thermoserver here? I would believe it because it's true. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it, doll. Oh, it's okay. So, this is the joys of having 2 kitchens, is all the stuff gets taken upstairs and eaten or whatever, and then nobody brings anything back down here. But anyway, so this is what we've got. We've got our veggies steamed. We've got our chicken cooked. I would normally sit that in a thermoserver to keep that warm. But now what we're going to do is make our soup. So we're taking that off. We're going to take the basket out with our spatula. So we've got a little hook on our spatula where that picks our basket up. We can easily, thanks Del, we can easily flick that open, pop the potatoes and the leek into our stock. And we're going to pop that in there. We're going to put our lid back on, and now that's going to blend that up to make a really, really smooth soup. And while that's happening, this is a thermoserver. So like I was saying, you need a thermoserver in your life. It's basically a double-walled bowl that keeps food hot or cold for 2 hours. I think a whole minute's probably overkill, so I'll just stop that there. Okay, so there's our chicken and our veggies, but we will make a sauce for that. Here is our super smooth soup, and I'll just pour this just to show you how... I'm going to pour this into a mug because I don't have a bowl. This is delicious. Look at this. It's like smooth, silky smooth soup. There's your cup of soup and your chicken. And I'm going to take most of that soup out. You could put that in another thermoserver if you had one. And just leaving enough to cover the blades. I'm popping that back on. And I'm popping in some creme fraiche, which I didn't actually have creme fraiche today, so I'm using Philly. You could use sour cream, any kind of creamy thing you wanted, and some Dijon mustard, so 2 teaspoons of mustard, and you just give that a mix up, and it just does it for 10 seconds. And all of the bits of the varoma and all of that are all dishwasher safe. So then with this, we then have got like now the potato and leek soup has now turned into like a sauce that's going to go over our chicken and veg. like so. Now, I need another, what's Shay? Oh, you can't see. Oh, hang on a sec. There's our chicken and veg, maybe on the other screen, and our mug of soup. There we go. Now I'm just going to pour the rest of my sauce into a bowl because I want to show you how easy the Thermomix is to clean. Oh, maybe not the bench where I just poured half of that, but anyway. So now when you're finished cooking, like I did like the pizza to the Brazilian cheese puffs, and that was no problem. But then if I wanted to actually wash my bowl up to make like a dessert or something like that, I would just pop in some water into it. And I've got a couple of options. So if there was some browning on the bottom, I would want to do a deep pre-clean. But if it was just sauce, I would just do a slush around. So the options are pre-clean. Better put my lid on before I do that. Pre-clean, you choose how dirty the bowl is. There we go, we'll say that one. And what that does, you could put a drop of dish soap in there as well if you wanted. What that does is it actually heats the Thermomix up and starts stirring to lift anything off the bottom of your bowl. Like I said, if it was just sauce or I don't know, something that hadn't actually, really dirtied the bottom of the bowl, you could just turn it up to speed 10 and just slush hot water around in there, literally rinse it, and it'd be either ready straight to go into your dishwasher or dry it up and start cooking your next thing on there. So let me just show you what this looks like. I'm just going to stop it there. Stop there. I'm going to give it what I said, like around to speed 10 just to wash the bowl. And I'll just show you how that comes up. Pour that out. And as you can see, we've got nice and clean, and you could then just chuck that straight in the dishwasher or start cooking your next thing. So there you go. I think that's our demo done for the day. Is there any questions? Okay. Cheese puffs, sauce. The cheese puffs would be really nice dipped in the sauce too, but I'm not going to do that either. Oh, the pizza! Almost. Oh, look, it's looking lovely. Oh. Let me grab my board for it. There's my pizza. Nice and crunchy. Don't know if you heard that crunch. But if we have a look, look at that. Nice and fluffy, crunchy.
Is that a thick base or a
Perfect.
thin base?
Well, it is pretty thick because I only rolled it to that size. It's exactly the same recipe. It's just how much dough you use and how much you roll it out. So
Okay.
I would, like I said, I actually usually make 3 that size. So they are slightly thinner when I do, like when the kids have got toppings. But I would say that that's a fairly thick base. And I'm not going to eat any of that either. Rigo's going to take some of that now. You'll have to tell us what you think of that one, Shane.
Pizza.
Nice?
Tastes like pizza.
Tastes like pizza. Thanks, darling. Anyway, other questions? And thank you for reminding me so I didn't burn the pizza. And I've turned the oven off as well, so we're all good. Danny's laughing because she knew me back when I couldn't, well, I still don't think I could cook very well. Luckily, I have a Thermomix, but she knew me back in the days when I couldn't boil water. But anyway. Look how much I can cook now, Danny. Are you impressed? Oh, something's changed. I'm still not good with the oven, let me tell you. Like, It's yeah. I have burnt quite a lot of things in the oven, but I've never burnt anything in the Thermomix because it won't let you. It stops as soon as the time's up. The heat stops. So that's like really good for people like me who get easily distracted. Very good. Questions, Denny? No questions. Emma, have you got a question for me?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, like, we're a family of 6 adults.
Yep.
Like, can you do meals that big in it?
Definitely, yeah. There's actually, I can send you a link. There's actually a lady that's what is she called? My Thermomix and 8, and I think she's got 8 kids and her and a husband. And look, it's the same as how you would cook on the stove. One pot sometimes doesn't cook enough for you, but you know, you might have to bulk it out with, you know, cooking rice first, or you know, doing extra veggies in the Varoma. With the Varoma, you can actually fill that. Like, I only put, you know, a little container of each veggie, but you can actually stack that up as high as you like. You could have done more than 8 tenderloins if you wanted as well. But yeah, lots of big families have a Thermomix and love it.
Yeah, cool. And is it easy enough to adapt, like, your own recipes to do in the thermo?
Yeah, so we do cookidoo classes where we actually help you do that. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't matter what recipe you're thinking of, there's already a Thermomix cookidoo recipe for that thing. So you just grab that recipe, but add in your ingredients. And sometimes you can even just walk through their steps. But, you know, if you usually put in this spice or this much meat or whatever, you can just do your own ingredients and then make your own recipe, basically. Make sure you're writing it down as you go. And then you can actually in Cookidoo 3.0, you can actually then modify an existing recipe. So you can keep their method, but change your ingredients.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more question, how's it go as a slow cooker?
Yeah, well, great. You just need to have your blade cover.
Yeah.
In saying that, the slow cooking recipe, so the blade cover just basically sits on top of the blades. So you've got 2.2 litres. But if you think of of your slow cooker, have you got a slow cooker? Yeah. So I actually have still got my 6 litre slow cooker. Because the only thing I cook in that is a pea and ham soup, and I like to get like a big ham knuckle and like bacon bones from the butcher and cook it up in like a big 6 litres of it, which I haven't done for years because none of my family will eat it. But anyway, so I know, buggers. But with the Thermomix recipes, the slow cooking are more like chef-inspired slow cooking. So they're like beef cheeks and all those like trendy new cuts of meat done that have to be slow cooked because they're rough cuts, but they're done like real, like, you know, like the beef cheeks is like in red wine and some other fancy thing. So it's all really like chefy kind of slow cooking. It's not like chuck it all in 6 litres, fill it up with water and hope for the best kind of thing, which is kind of how I cook in my slow cooker. Probably one of the nicest meals I've ever had is a slow cooked pork belly in the Thermomix. And it's just absolutely beautiful. It's got like cardamom and lemongrass and all these really yummy flavours, but it's like something you'd have at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like what I think of, like mum slow cooking something in the slow cooker where she chucked in the chuck steak and the, you know, lentils or whatever, and the packet of stuff or whatever it was. Yeah. It's kind of a different kind of slow cooking.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And usually it's 4 or 5 hours, not like all day either.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But really good. Like,
I made pulled pork.
oh, the pulled pork is so good, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So good.
It's so yum. I could eat that every day of the week, just as quietly. But it, like, Marjorie, would you agree that it's more sort of special slow cooking?
Yeah, it is special slow cooking. It's not like you said, just throwing in the chuck steak and the veggies.
Yeah.
Put the lid on and walk away. It's not like, it is more special.
Specialised, yeah.
Can't tell you how good it tasted.
Yeah, I know. You actually are really disappointed when you go and have pulled pork at a restaurant and pay $30 or $40 a plate, and you think, oh, could have done better than that myself.
Yeah. It's just it takes 4 hours. That's all. It takes longer.
I actually, we went to Bellingen Markets yesterday, and I got this beautiful bowl. It was like salad and baba ganoush and pickled cabbage and chicken, like char grilled chicken. And I was eating it. I said to Shane, "Oh, this is so good." And he looked at me, he goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you just taking, you just taking the mickey?" I'm like, "No, it's really good." And he's like, "That's the first time in so long that you've been happy with something that you've bought that you haven't cooked." He's like, "You're such a food snob now." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't mean to be. It's not my fault. I can do better in the Thermomix." Very good. Any other questions, Em?
No, that's all.
No, excellent.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Caitlin, have you got any questions?
Not really. The only thing probably is how long, if I ordered it now,
How long can I get it? I like that. That's good because they're coming really quickly at the moment. So we literally can, you order it today, probably dispatch Monday or Tuesday, possibly. You're in Lismore, aren't you? Yeah, so probably.
I'm still probably a little way off, to be honest, because we don't move back into the house until September, but I want to make sure that I have it by the time I move home so I can start cooking.
At the moment, literally probably have it by the end of the week. So, yeah.
Cool. Alright, that's
Excellent.
really all I need to ask, I think.
Lovely. Thanks for hopping on. What about you, Nick? Did you have any?
I do, but it sounds like a bit of an alcoholic question.
Oh, there's no judgment here.
My sister makes cocktails in hers, but she just does it very free pouring.
Yep.
Is there a cocktail recipes on cookidoo or something?
Oh, there's so many.
Okay.
And they're really good.
She just throws it in, makes the one kind all the time, and just.
What does she make?
Majori slices.
Oh,
So good.
yeah. The mojito. Oh, the mojito is so good. And you can make a whole jug of it. I actually look like, thank you, Shane. I look like an alcoholic because I actually make a whole jug of mojito and go to my friend's house with my Thermomix jug in hand. And it's just so yummy and so easy because it basically will crush your ice. It'll, you can put it on reverse if you know how they do the mulling. Is it mulling?
Yeah.
So it'll do that in reverse. It weighs in, so you don't even need a shot glass. You can just say 30 grams or 60 grams or free pour, whatever you like. But yeah, there's a whole cocktails collection in cookidoo too.
Oh, sold.
Yeah. What's the coffee one that everyone likes?
Espresso martini.
Espresso martinis. I've never had one because I don't really do coffee, but apparently the espresso martini is amazing in Thermomix and really easy.
All the daiquiris.
Oh, and daiquiris.
Snuffle came from her house last night.
Oh. Like I said, Nick, no judgment.
Okay, no judgment. The first time in a long time I want to add.
Oh, look, you don't have to explain yourself to me, mate.
Going back on mute.
Oh, dear. Danielle Allen, I could see you having some fun with the cocktails in the Thermomix.
Definitely. I'm coming to visit you again in January. So
Oh, are you? Excellent. Excellent. Rightio. Well, you'll have to come at night time so we can have cocktails.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, not that you can only have cocktails in the night time, but I think it was morning when you visited last time, so that wasn't appropriate.
No, we won't do it then.
Yeah, awesome. Excellent. Rightio, girls. If there's no other questions, speak now. Is there anybody else after Denny still there that I can't see? I've asked everybody else. Marjorie, you're right. You don't have any questions?
No,
She's loving her Thermomix.
I am.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear, love. Thanks for hopping on. I hope you picked up a tip or two.
Yes, it was good.
Excellent. Rightio.
I just have to upgrade my phone now because there is no way I can get that on my...
Oh, the app.
Yeah, remember we talked about it?
Oh, yes.
My phone is not compatible.
Is that what it is? Because I asked a few people that were Samsung, and they showed me that they had it and assured me that you could have it.
A Samsung 5, that's the problem.
Ah.
Upgrade.
Okay.
So, that's all right, no problem.
It's well worth it because you know how many times you get to Woolworths or to the shops and you think, what can I cook? And you wish you knew the recipe because you know there's one thing you're going to forget. You can just grab your phone, go into the recipe, see all the stuff. It's great.
That will happen, but right now what I do is look in advance,
Yeah.
print it out, and then make my list from the printout. But
Yeah.
it's so much of a time saver.
Yeah.
The other way around.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway, no problem.
No worries. Good to see you.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye, girls. If there was no other questions, thoughts. I've got a child waiting to eat cheese puffs. You can come in now, Mol. We're done. Oh, okay. See you, girls.
Thanks, Gemma.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
No worries.
Thanks, Gem.
No problems.
Thanks, Jim. Bye.
Bye.